Hi, welcome. It's Monica Super Duffy, and I am going to teach number 4 of Karma classes for my Vinyasa practice. So thanks for joining me today for a yoga flow. So we're going to start off on our mat in balls of the feet together. So butterfly pose, but we're going to make our way down to our mat. So we'll be on our back, and then you can place one hand over your heart and the other hand over your belly. And close your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. We're going to just dip into our mindfulness meditation practice before we get into our physical prana practice. So just sit here and breathe. And then coming into the present moment. According to Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, mindfulness is awareness that arises on purpose in the present moment without judgment. So let's take this time to just settle into our bodies and just breathe right here and right now. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. We are so oftentimes into our heads and out of our bodies. So just taking this time to just notice what's going on within your body as you lay here in this position. Supta Baddha Konasana invites us to just relax into the pose, getting ever more deeply into our lower back to try and relax the spine and relax your hips. So just noticing how your body's feeling as you lay here, breathing in through the nose and breathing out of the mouth. Noticing now what's happening within your breath. As you inhale, notice the breath moving up from your navel into your chest and out of your mouth. Not placing any judgment about your breath or the quality of it, just noticing and just breathing. Now just noticing what's going on for you in your mind as you sit here in stillness. Oftentimes the stillness brings up a lot more sensations, those feelings, beliefs, judgments, to-do lists. Whatever might be happening for you in your mind right now, just let them be, noticing and breathe. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Now setting an intention for your practice today. A sankalpa, a word or a phrase that's going to help you get through your practice today, not only on your yoga mat, but off into the world. Breathing in and breathing out. Perhaps it's a challenge to shift our perspectives and listen to others' perspectives so that we create more unity rather than division. Or maybe it's something else. Whatever that intention is for you, go ahead and repeat it 3 times in your mind's eye. Just saying it to yourself as you inhale through the nose and as you exhale out of the mouth. Beautiful. And on your next inhale, you're just going to slowly start to release the hands from your navel and your heart. And on the inhale, you're going to bring your knees into your chest and then create a nice little hug into a fetal position here. And then rock yourself slowly side to side, allowing your lower back here to be massaged. Breathing in and breathing out. And when you're ready here, gently bring your knees to your left side, bringing your hands to a T with your palms onto the floor. And then bringing your gaze to the direction away from your knees. So your knees are pointed to the left and your head's going to be pointed to the right. So this should feel really good to your lower back. It's a deep lower back stretch. Just breathe here. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. We're going to take 2 more like that. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale. Good, and exhale out. On your next inhale, we're going to bring the knees into the chest once more. Give yourself a nice hug in fetal position. And as you exhale, just slowly making your way into a supine twist on the opposite side. So reaching your knees to the right, bringing your arms out to a T on the other side here, and then looking towards your left arm. If you want even more of a stretch, if this doesn't feel as good on your lower back, you may want to bring your right hand just to the outer edges of your large muscle, the quadricep muscle above your kneecap. And just notice, you might feel some cracking in your back here. And just taking just one more breath here, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Beautiful. On your next inhale, you're going to bring yourself again into that fetal position. And this time, squeeze a little bit more. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then bringing your feet down to the mat. Exhale. Inhale, you're going to come into bridge pose, bringing your hands for a more deep pose of bridge to clasp behind your back. And then walking your shoulder blades closer together. And just breathe here, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Inhaling and exhaling. You're going to take 2 more breaths in your bridge pose here. Last one, inhale. Good, and on the exhale, releasing the clasp if you took that option. And then bringing yourself back into your fetal position. Now, from your fetal position, we're going to actually bring our hands now underneath our knees. And we're going to just rock and roll on our mat. So a different way to rock. So instead of side to side, we're rocking up and back and just giving some more love to our spine. Good. And on your next inhale, you're going to just bring yourself up to standing position at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. If you prefer a little bit of a different halfway lift, you can bring your hands to the mat And just reach those shoulder blades up and back. So your back doesn't really create necessarily a flat back, but it really helps to get a good stretch in the backs of your legs here. Exhale, forward fold. Release everything here in your forward fold. This being your first forward fold of the day, come back to the intention that you had set for your practice. And just breathe and release all the tension that you might be holding in your neck. Release any tension that you're holding in your hands. And just let everything hang without any effort. On your inhale, you're going to reach with your hands reverse swan diving up slowly but surely, vertebra by vertebra. Your hands come to clasp at the top. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Good. On your inhale, reach those hands up high. And on the exhale, we're going to bow it down again. Inhale, halfway lift, your preference. Exhale, step the left foot back. Then step the right foot back and come into your plank pose. If this is too much for you, bring your knees down. No shame. Otherwise, just keep your plank pose for another 2 breaths here. Building some strength in your shoulder girdle and building some strength in your core. On the exhale, go ahead and bring your knees down and your chest and your chin. Exhale. Inhale to cobra, bringing your elbows in to your sides here. And on the exhale, we're going to make our way into child's pose, sinking our hips to our heels and extending our hands out long onto the mat. And just breathe in and out. For this first child's pose, you may choose to bring your knees to the outer edges of your mat. So it's a little bit more accessible for your hips if you're really tight in those hips. Since we're just getting started, preference here for bringing your hands out to the edges of the mat for a more active child's pose. Inhaling and exhaling. Taking one more inhale here, exhale out. On your next inhale, tuck the toes, bring yourself into your first downward facing dog of the day. So in your first downward facing dog here, I want you to just really focus on pressing your shoulders further down towards the mat and then reaching those hips high as you try to reach your heels further down to the mat. Good. On your next inhale, just starting to walk your dog, breathing here, stretching the backs of the legs. Exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to walk the feet to the front, right at our hands. Exhale out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll it all the way up, reverse swan dive your arms. And exhale, hands come to heart center once more. And just breathe. Good. On your next inhale, reach it up, sweep it down, exhale. Bring your left foot back and your right foot back, coming into your plank once more. And hold here for another 3 full breaths. Good. If you want to take the knees, chest, chin to cobra, and then back to your child's pose or downward facing dog, go ahead. Otherwise, if you'd like to go ahead and take chaturanga arms, you can do that. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Meeting back in your downward facing dog here. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out of the mouth. On your next inhale, we're gonna reach the right foot up and back, down dog split. And on the exhale, we're gonna bring the knee in to the chest, plant the foot between your hands. And we're gonna either rise up to our high crescent lunge, or option here to put the knee down for low crescent lunge. If you choose to bring yourself into high crescent lunge, we're gonna reach up and exhale, bring the knee down. Inhale up, exhale down. Two more. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one, inhale up, exhale down. Good. On this next one, we're going to bring it up. And on the exhale, we're going to bring it here to goalpost. Goalpost arms. Inhale up. Then we're going to sweep it down. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep it. Inhale up. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep it. Last one, inhale up. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep it. Good. Inhale it up. And smile and exhale, frame the feet. And then bring that left hand beside that right foot. Exhale. Inhale, reach that right hand up, twist. So you can either keep your hand here, elevated up, or you can reach it around for a twist. And breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to take 3 more like that. 2 more. Last one. Good. On your next inhale, reach that hand up high to the sky. Exhale, frame the foot, and then flow through whatever version of your vinyasa you prefer. Inhale, up dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe here. On your next inhale, reach that left foot up and back, down dog split. Exhale, bring the knee into the chest. Plant the foot between the hands. Rise up to a high crescent lunge or a low crescent lunge. Your option, pick what makes most sense for you. We're going to go ahead and start. Inhale up, exhale lower. 3 more, inhale, exhale. 2 more, inhale, exhale, building strength in the legs. Inhale, exhale down. Inhale, reach it up again. We're going to start those arm movements. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale up, exhale, sweep. Inhale up, goalpost. Exhale, inhale up, and sweep second one. Inhale up, 2 more. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale up, and sweep it. Inhale up, goalpost. Inhale up, and sweep it. Good. On your next inhale, coming back to your high crescent lunge. On the exhale, bring your right hand beside your left foot. Exhale. Inhale, reach that left hand up and hold here. And just take 3 more breaths. You got this. Again, if your hand was behind your back in a twist, to reach that shoulder further back and twist a little more deeply, you can do that. 2 more here. Last one. Beautiful. Unwind on the inhale, exhale, frame the foot. Step that foot back and lower through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe here in your downward facing dog. If you need to remove some layers, if it's getting a little warm, go ahead and do that. You can also just sit back into your child's pose if you need it. Take a little thing of water. We're really working the heat. and building all of that up so we can do a little bit more. So let's meet back into downward facing dog. And exhale. Inhale, bring your heels off the mat. Exhale, walk the feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach it all the way up. Good, and exhale, we're gonna come into Malasana, squat pose. So you're just gonna try to reach those hips down to the mat. Reach your shoulders up and back as you bring your elbows into the inner creases just above your knees. And just breathe here for 4 breaths. Now we've probably already been here for about 2 breaths, so let's take 2 more. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one, inhale and exhale. Good, awesome job. We'll meet back. You're probably already at the front of the mat, but for me, since I'm in this view, I'm just gonna walk myself to the front again. Good, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. This time with our forward fold, we're gonna bring opposite elbow to our hands. So just really ragdolling side to side here. Again, releasing the tension in your neck. Just calming down your sympathetic nervous system. Good, and release the hands. Inhale all the way up, swan dive those arms. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Good, inhale, reach those hands all the way up. Exhale, bring them down. This time, step the right foot back, then your left foot back. Good, exhale, hold for plank. Breathing here, inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Don't sink those hips, don't raise them high. Really work that core. Good, breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth. On your inhale, reach those hips high. Exhale out. Inhale, reach that right foot up and back, down dog split. On the exhale, bring the knee into the chest. Plant the foot between the hands. Rise up to your high crescent lunge, and then come into your warrior 2 foot positioning. And breathe. Inhale, reach a few inches here. Exhale, open up that front hand. Inhale, reach a little bit further, and then exhale, reverse. Good, inhale, reach. Exhale, reverse, 2 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, reverse. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale, reverse here. Good, inhale, bring it back to your warrior 2. And we've been working those abs. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna grab our block here, and we're gonna come into half moon pose. So with your back foot, you're gonna start to work that back foot up, 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 up. Making sure that foot is flexed here. And then reaching that hand up towards the sky. You may choose to bring your gaze up. Just feel what makes most sense for you in your body. You got this. And on your next inhale, bringing yourself back to your warrior 2, placing that block down. Good, exhale out. On the inhale, bring yourself back to your warrior 2, or warrior reverse. Good, and on the exhale this time, we're gonna bring our front knee to be completely straight-legged, but just watch. If you want to micro bend the knee, you can. Just whatever feels best for you and your body here. Exhale, inhale, reach it forward, and then we're going into our triangle pose here. So bring your right hand to your right ankle, and then reach your gaze up as you press into your shin here to give yourself a nice stretch, opening up that body. 2 more, inhale and exhale out. Last one. Beautiful breath on your inhale, bringing yourself back to your warrior 2. Exhale out. On the inhale, we're gonna bring our hands into cartwheel-like position and make our way into our low runner's lunge. On the exhale, we're gonna bring the foot back and lower into your vinyasa, whether it be knees, chest, chin, up dog to down dog, or what I'm demonstrating here on the screen. On the next inhale, we're going to do the same thing other side. Bring up that left foot, down dog split, square off those hips towards the mat. Exhale, bring the knee into the chest, plant the foot between the hands, rise up to your high crescent lunge, to your warrior 2. Now, I'm going to show you on this side so that you can see me clearly here. Good. On your inhale, reach it forward. Exhale. Inhale, open up that hand to receive. Exhale, sweep it back. Maybe bring your gaze back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sweep. Maybe visualizing on the sweeps that you're letting go of something that's not serving you. Inhale and exhale. Good. On your next inhale, bringing yourself back to your warrior 2. Grabbing that block if you need it. And then bringing your hand, maybe like me, to your hip. Exhale. Inhale, starting to tap that foot up until you're ready to come to your balanced pose. Again, making sure that back foot is flexed. And then bringing your hand to your block. Perhaps you don't need the block. Awesome. If that's the case, great. Just find what works best for you and your body here. Recognizing that your sides are different. I'm feeling a little wobbly today, and that's okay. Once you've gotten to your 4th breath, and then you make your way back to your warrior 2. And breathe. Inhale, reach it. Exhale, reverse. Inhale to your warrior 2. Let that knee become your straight leg for now your triangle. Inhale and exhale, reaching that hand up, bringing your gaze up, and then opening up those wings to fly and stretch. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. 2 more here. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth. Last one. You got it. Good. And on your exhale, just slowly making your way back into your warrior 2. Exhale. Inhale, you're going to frame the foot into low runner's lunge. And do the same thing. Coming into our Vinyasa Flow, but always know that if you don't even want to do either version, you can come back to your downward facing dog. We'll all meet back, actually this time, into your child's pose. So this time with your child's pose, bring your knees in. And then this time with your hands, you're going to bring your hands back. And then just curl up into a ball, just as I'm showing. And breathe here. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Breathing in and breathing out. And then bringing yourself up into your hero's pose for a moment. Taking some time to stretch out your wrists. We worked those wrists quite a bit. So just stretch them out. Breathing in and breathing out. Maybe you feel like this is easier where you're walking on out. My cheerleading coach taught us that many years ago, that we could work our wrists by just changing directions as we're in tabletop. So, like so here. That's my shout out to you, Mama T, if you're watching. Love ya. Good. On your next inhale from your tabletop, if you're in it, if you're not, that's okay too. Just bring your hips up high into your downward facing dog. Exhale out. Inhale, walking your feet to your hands at the front of the mat. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale out. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Now we're going to come to the sides of our mat here. And we're going to do goddess pose and star. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to put our feet at 10 and 2, just as if it were a clock around us. And we're going to bring our hands to goalpost arms like we practiced earlier. Good. Exhale. Then we're going to bring our knees to a squat here. So this is our goddess pose, letting our pelvis rotate forward. Good. Inhale up to star and take a look. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale and hold here and breathe. Taking 3 more like this. 2 more. You got it. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Smile. Good. And on the exhale, let's come back to our final Vinyasa Flow option here. If you want to just come back to downward facing dog, you can do that. Breathe it in. Exhale, meeting back in your downward facing dog. Good. This time on the inhale, we're going to reach our foot up and back, down dog split. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip, and bring some hip circles. Inhale, back to downward dog split. Exhale, bring the knee into the chest. Plant the foot between the hands. We're going to come into lizard lunge now. So for lizard lunge, you can keep that back knee up if you wish, but I'm going to bring my knee down. And the difference between a low runner's lunge and a lizard is your hand and foot positioning. So instead of my hands framing my feet, my hands are going to go on the inside of my foot, and I'm going to heel toe my right foot over to the edge of my mat. Then I'm going to grab a block if you need it, put it at whatever distance you need it, height, and then bring your elbows down here. So we're going to be stretching out our inner thigh muscles. And just breathing here, taking 2 more breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Good. On your next inhale, we'll remove that block over to the side, exhale out. Coming into our Hanumanasana. If you want to grab your blocks, 2 blocks, you have them. Go ahead and bring them over to your sides. Stretch that heel out to the edges of your mat. Hips or over your heel or over your knee here. And then we're just going to bring our chest forward. And again, just stretch out all along the backs of our legs here with our right toes pointed up. If you don't need the blocks, that's okay too. For a deeper stretch here, you can let go of them. Last one, inhale through the nose, and then exhale out of the mouth. Good, on your next inhale, walking your feet back to your lizard, or bringing your hand over, coming to now your low crescent, or excuse me, low runner's lunge modified. Exhale. On the next inhale, you're going to heel toe that right foot over to your left side. We're going to come into pigeon pose here. So the idea here is to keep this right foot flexed. Try to keep that right hip close to the mat as you can. If you need to put a block underneath that hip as it's splayed up, you can, or a bolster or something else. Try to keep that leg straight, like parallel to the edges of your mat if you can. Square off your chest. Inhale, rise up. And on the exhale, you're going to slowly walk your hands down to the mat. And you're just going to breathe here for 10 breaths. I know that sounds like a lot, but it is absolutely necessary here. To really get into that hip region. And this is going to work into a lot of your emotions. So just, again, like mindfulness meditation, notice what's happening for you in your body as you sit here in pigeon and breathe. Of course, if this is too much for you, I'll offer you a modification here, coming onto your back into figure 4, and then bringing your hands to clasp behind the opposite, just underneath the knee, and then bringing your right elbow into your leg here for a deeper stretch. So just noticing that you're going to have options here if pigeon is just too intense for you. Good. And once you're ready, once you've gotten those 10 breaths from your pigeon pose, if you're on your mat like this, you're going to undo and heel toe over that right foot. Exhale out. Inhale, coming back to your down dog split. And on the exhale, you're going to just bring your hip open once more like we started, and just bring some hip circles here. If it feels good, you can start to let that right foot start to come closer down to the mat, letting your left foot rotate, bringing it down and coming into reaching your hips high, coming into a nice back bend here. Again, this is just a more advanced option. You can always stay just keeping your hips rotating here. And then bring it down back to your downward facing dog. We're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Inhale, reach your hips, or sorry, down dog split. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Left side. Hip circles. We're coming into lizard on the left side now. Inhale it back up. Exhale, bring the knee into the chest, plant the foot between the hands. Bring that back right knee down. Exhale out. Remember to heel toe that foot towards the edge of your mat and bring in both hands to the inside of your legs for your lizard stretch here. So this is to really be stretching all along your glute, that those muscles here even extend on top of your hip, the gluteus medius. And then just bringing yourself again into whatever lizard pose works best for you with any blocks, any kind of modifications here that you need. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth. Breathing in, confidence. Breathing out, all of the doubt. Inhaling and exhaling out. Great job, y'all. Remove those blocks. And then exhale, bringing yourself into Hanumanasana. We'll go into pigeon last. So just finding your blocks if you need it. Inhale, reach the chest up and back. And then on the exhale, walking your hands down to the mat or keeping them on your block. Whatever works best for you and your body. The beauty of virtual classes is that we're only comparing ourselves to ourselves or to me, but there are less opportunity to play that comparison game when people are in person together. Yoga is all about finding your true self, being more aware, and then making yourself the best version of yourself. Committing to personal growth. It's not about the physicality. The physicality is just one small part of yoga. On your next inhale, you're going to bring yourself back to your lizard lunge. Exhale. And then we're going to start heel-toeing that left foot over to the right side of our mat. Coming down to our pigeon here on the left side. Again, just checking in with your posture, using modifications and props as you need it. Inhale, reaching your hands maybe up, and then coming into a nice back bend, and then on the exhale, forward folding into your pigeon pose here. If you practice figure 4 on the other side, you may go ahead and find your figure 4 now as well, or instead of. Since I did half and half, I'm going to just do half and half just for the sake of demonstrating. Good. And on your next inhale, starting to make your way out of your pigeon pose, whatever version you took here. Bringing yourself back to your low runner's lunge. Exhale. Inhale, reaching that left foot up and back. Exhale, bend the knee, open up that hip. Come into some hip circles. Again, if you want to take that more advanced option, all you're going to do is start to just notice letting your right foot that's grounded, starting to twist, bringing that heel to the front of the mat, and then bringing that opposite foot a little closer to about halfway of the other leg, reaching up for a nice back bend here. Good. Good. Whatever version you're in, making your way into your downward facing dog once more. Exhale out. Inhale, bend the knees. Lowering down to the mat. Coming into your child's pose once more. Bringing that heart rate down, as we like to call it, coming into your lunar phase once more. And just breathe here and be. Just noticing the heart rate starting to slow a bit down. And if you need to, at this time, feel free to take a sip of water. Making your way into a hero's pose like me. So all that is required here is just walking your hands up, reaching your chest back, sinking your hips to your heels, upright. Good. Let's go ahead and just bring some circles to our wrist. Inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful. And then changing directions. Good. And then on the inhale, let's stretch our arm out. So maybe we bring our hand to the crease here in our shoulder and use our thumb to massage that shoulder. And just breathe here. Two more. One last one. Good. And then on the inhale, reach it up. And on the exhale, coming over to the other side. And just doing the same thing here. And breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in all that serves you. Breathing out all that does not. Last one here. Good. Inhale, reach the hands up high to the sky and smile. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Good. At this point, you can just bring your feet out to the mat. You might want to bring your hips a little bit closer in towards the mat. Exhale. Inhale, reach your hands here. Exhale, slowly make your way down, but not quite yet. You're going to reach your feet up. Navasana, boat pose. So we're going to work our core here and just breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in and breathing out. You got this. Two more. Inhaling, exhaling. Last one. Inhaling and exhale. Good. Ready? We're gonna let it go down now. Slowly but surely. Lower your legs. Reaching out. Still working those abs. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out of the mouth. You got it. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Lower down. You did it. Give yourself a little clap. Thanking yourself. Hugging yourself. We're not done with the practice yet, but we're done with the strenuous part. On the inhale, bring the knees into the chest, just like we started, for our fetal position. Hug yourself tightly. And breathe. Letting the legs lower down. And then just windshield wipering our hips side to side, giving love to the lumbar spine. Good, and just breathe here. Not trying to change anything. And then making your way to be static once more in this pose. We're going to go up to another version of our bridge pose. So inhale the hips high to the sky. If you choose to bring your hands behind, that's going to just be a little bit more riveting, a little bit more strenuous. Just do what works best for you. Notice what is happening in your body. Maybe for a deeper back bend here, you walk your heels closer to your hips. And just breathe. Maybe you feel like bringing your hands behind your head. That's more of a relaxing version. I like to do this in front of the TV sometimes at night. Good. And then lowering your hips back down to the mat and taking any last pose that you would like to here before going into your Shavasana. So perhaps it's happy baby, bringing your peace fingers around your big toes, keeping your lumbar spine, your lower back onto the mat and rocking slightly side to side. We'll gently massage that lower back. Or you can always stay static. Just see what works well for you. You can also end like we started in supine twist. So as a reminder, supine twist was bringing your knees into your chest and then reaching yourself over with your arms at a T and then bringing your shoulders down to the mat, looking in the opposite direction of where your knees are. So again, find what version works for you. If you do supine twist, just make sure that you get love on both sides, just as we began. I like to do 4 breaths on each side. So just breathe here. Inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, of course, and done, some people will be finished before others, and that's completely fine. Maybe you want to put some extra layers on, some socks, a jacket, to get into a more comfy Shavasana where you're not feeling cold. If you have a blanket, you might want to put the blanket on your entire body. If there are any mamas out there, remember to always consult with a doctor to see what makes most sense for you with your practice, but oftentimes sideline pose with a pillow between your legs or a bolster is going to work best rather than laying directly onto your back. But again, please consult your doctor first. And then just relax into your Shavasana. With Shavasana here, you're going to relax your shoulders into the mat, allowing your hands just to splay out to the edges, which then releases the tension in your shoulder girdle. By allowing your feet to splay out to the edges, you release some of the tension in that lower back. And then releasing anything that does not serve you in your jaw area, allowing your jaw to just become agape slightly. Closing your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. And releasing any tension in that place between your brow, your third eye, that place of intuition. Returning to your breath as your anchor to hold you into this present moment. Not trying to change anything about your body. Not trying to change anything about your breath. Not trying to change anything about your mind. Rather just noticing what's happening for you to increase that self-awareness. And then just coming back to your breath to anchor you into this present moment. Breathing in and breathing out. Wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes, bringing yourself back into an awakened state here. And on your next inhale, you're going to reach your hands behind your head like the big stretch, first stretch of the day. And on the exhale, you're going to bring the knees into the chest for a fetal position and exhale. And on the next inhale, we're going to just roll over into a side lying child's pose with your hand closest to the floor to cradle your head like a pillow. And just noticing how you're feeling now compared to the beginning of your practice. And then on your next inhale, with your eyes still closed, just making your way up to the top of your mat in your easy pose, bringing your hands to heart center and bowing your head to your heart. And then thanking yourself for showing up today for yourself. Noticing how you feel now compared to the beginning of your practice. Breathing in and breathing out. I'll just read something to you that is important to me. It's a 31-day challenge that I'm encouraging folks to take on. Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek out information that supports our pre-existing beliefs while ignoring or dismissing contradictory evidence. It's something we all experience, yet it plays a significant role in the growing divisions within our society. We often engage only with those who share our views. We consume news that reinforces what we already believe. And over time, this can lead to polarization, where differences turn into deep divides, and respectful discourse is replaced with dismissiveness and even hostility. So what if we took a different approach? For the next 31 days, and for those of you who observe Lent, maybe it's for the remainder of Lent, let's commit to consuming diverse perspectives, reading and watching, listening to news that isn't what you would normally listen, watch, or read. Engaging in open dialogue with family, friends, and colleagues who think differently. Engaging them with curiosity rather than an intent to just win. All of this will then help us to find common ground. And instead of focusing on what divides us, seeking shared values and what can bring us together. When we lead with curiosity, empathy, and a willingness to listen, we create bridges instead of walls. So I ask you today, are you up for the challenge? Bringing our hands to our third eye, The light in me bows to the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you liked this, please click like and feel free to share on and follow me on other social media like Instagram. Breathe, lead, succeed, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.